Okay, listen, we can't say too much yet, but Amanda and I have been secretly renovating the entire Brave New Teaching world behind the scenes.
We are taking our entire podcast, our shop, our workshops, combining them into one massive university. It's going to change how you plan your entire year.
It really is, but we need help testing the new platform.
So if you want a sneak peek and the lowest price that it will ever exist, get on our beta waitlist right now at bravenewteaching.com/waitlist.
Seriously, you guys, go now. bravenewteaching.com/waitlist. Let's go.
Well, hello and welcome back to Brave New Teaching. I am so excited to jump in to another team meeting today. Marie is hard at work in everything going down with her show this week. I wish her the absolute best of luck with opening night. They are doing Guys and Dolls, and I have absolutely loved following along on her Instagram as she's been taking us through basically the countdown to opening night. And I am definitely, arguably, one of her besties, if not the best. But even I don't get a chance to see up close and personal the experience that and like the expertise that Marie brings to the table as a drama teacher. Like, I know her, she's my friend, I love her, but I live so far away and I don't teach with her. So if you are not following Marie on Instagram yet, you should be. Even if you don't teach drama, just watching the process unfold of what it takes to put on a production of this size with Marie's incredible talent, it's just so fun to watch. So make sure that you're following Marie. Her handle is at hello. It's Marie, right? Isn't that it? I'll link it below. I know it's hello. But anyway, make sure that you're following her. That is where she is this week. I am coming off of spring break as well a couple of weeks ago, and we're falling into end of the year stuff pretty soon. So we're kind of just trying to clean up all the testing season stuff here at school. Because if you've been following along, I am now at the elementary school, and man, testing season is a whole different animal here with elementary students. And we're doing everything possible in the library to channel joy and fun and everything that's anti-testing culture. So we've been really deep in really working hard to make sure that there is room to breathe and play and bring back, right, that joy for reading, not the testing reading. And that's all what's going on down here. So we've been really busy. And today we are going to, I think, ruffle a couple of feathers or maybe hear some out loud cheers, because I want to share with you 3 hills that I am willing to die on, educationally speaking. And these might be things that you've heard before. They might not. But I would love to hear from you on Instagram this week or whenever you listen to this episode, which ones resonated with you, which ones you want to fight me on, or I don't know, which ones you are right next to me and you are saying the same things. This is the episode to share with the people who need to hear the things that you're trying to say, because I'm saying them too. These are not the only 3 hills that I'm willing to die on, but they're the 3 that are currently and presently on my mind as I am talking with teachers. I'm preparing for PD this summer. I'm going out to a bunch of schools. I'm going to be in Arizona. I'm going to be in Texas. I'm going to be in a couple places locally in Wisconsin and Illinois. So all of this has been on my mind from the PD side, but also from the teaching side and the parenting side of things in this wonderful world of education. So 3 hills I'm willing to die on. And I really am wondering where you stand on this too. So without further ado, let's cue that music. You're listening to Brave New Teaching, and we are so much more than a podcast.
We give teachers the inspiration, support, and tools to challenge the status quo.
I'm Amanda, and I'm a former English teacher from Illinois.
And I'm Marie, and I'm a high school teacher from Southern California.
Join us after the show and happy hour to extend your BNT experience with instant access to our resources, workshops, and courses.
Visit shop.bravenewteaching.com/happy hour to join us today. We're so glad you're here. Enjoy the show.
All right. Hill number 1, if you've been around the podcast, you should know this by now. And you should not be fighting me on this hill. You should be joining me on this hill. And that hill is a Shakespeare one. Never, ever, ever will I ever read the plays out loud, cover to cover, assigning parts. If you're on my email list, I sent an email about this last week. And oh my gosh, I don't say this as a judgment. I say this as I've been there. It's completely failed. And I totally blamed myself. When I first started teaching Shakespeare, I thought the only option to share a play with students was to assign the reading, the same way I'd been assigning reading with novels. And my first mistake was treating Shakespeare the same way that I treat novels, right? That's like already a huge misstep. And I talk about that a lot when I'm thinking about the 4 reading realms and the importance of helping students switch in their brain what reading task they are about to encounter. And when students are encountering a play, the purpose of being there is not to read it. That is not something that the majority of adults will ever have to do. The reason that we're in a play is to examine the relationships and, yes, certainly some of the dialogue. But really, we are to witness a production and the way that the characters interact with one another, the way that the setting and the experience on stage unfolds. We are meant to see plays, and that very much includes Shakespeare. So, hill I will die on. We must stop reading Shakespeare cover to cover and start watching productions of plays for our units. If this is new to you, please stop what you're doing. You're going to go to bravenewteaching.com/BNT University. You're going to enroll in BNT University. It is our free course that essentially collects all of the major practices that we share on the podcast. And when you are in the university, it's completely free. I want you to start by going to the table of contents, and we have an entire section of the course dedicated to Shakespeare. In our Department of Modern Literacy, that's the 100 level, go to course 105, Lit 105. It's called Active Shakespeare, Performance, and Play. And you're going to go in there and you can get access to all of the episodes that we've done before that take on this concept in more depth. You'll see some of the different things that we've done to accommodate this. We also have even more options available when it comes to Shakespeare. We've got more in-depth tutorials and workshops and courses. You name it, we've got it. We're here to help you. But really, the baseline is this. We need to watch it. So if you want help doing that, bravenewteaching.com/BNT University. Get in there, get the basics, and then we'll go from there. Okay, stop assigning it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. Let's watch it. Okay, hill number 2. All right, this one I'm really feeling as we kind of come to the end of the year. I believe that students deserve ceremony. I believe that students deserve ceremony. What I mean by that is that students deserve time and space to celebrate accomplishments, celebrate milestones, and sometimes those accomplishments and milestones need to be a little bit massaged and created by us. And this is different from saying everyone deserves a participation trophy. That is not, please don't get these two things confused. But I do think that there are ceremonious and momentous things that occur in the lives of our students that if we as the teachers who are there don't bring attention to them, students don't see them as a big deal. They don't see themselves moving forward. Certainly parents and families don't know unless we are the ones that step in and say, hey, this is a really cool big deal and you should be proud of it. It doesn't necessarily need a full school-wide assembly, but little letters home, notes to the kids out of the blue, things like that, I think really mark an experience for students in our buildings. And of course, the relationship between you and the student and the family. We're about to move into our 5th graders moving into middle school era here at the elementary school, and this will be my first time. And as an outsider, I never saw anything really happening other than sometimes there were get-togethers organized by the PTO, like a roller skating day, but there is no graduation ceremony. There is no moving up ceremony. There's nothing that our district does for fifth grade students. And I'm sure people are on both sides of, the pros and cons of what that looks like. But there is an award ceremony during the day on the second to last day of school. So I'm curious to see what kinds of things we are recognizing students for. And I can say that not at this school, but in past experiences, this can go badly very quickly. So again, kind of when we talk about ceremony and marking places on students' journey, we have to be really thoughtful about how we do that. And I wanted to share a couple of ideas. So one idea that we've had in the library is we wanted to award students and recognize students in large groups. So rather than trying to have a lot of individual awards, which, is fine, it's really kind of nice to recognize a group of students that have accomplished something together. So we've been looking through our library data, and one thing that we recognize is there's a good chunk of students, close to like 50%, who have checked out 400 or more books in their time here at elementary school. What an amazing milestone. So we're trying to figure out how we might recognize that. The students can stand up, maybe a certificate, but what a very, library thing to be proud of our students for, that we can award a lot of students, but not everybody, something that's really momentous and very cool. Another thing we did want to do for all of our students is we wanted to recognize them with a certificate that showcases the very first book that they checked out in kindergarten and the very last book that they checked out in fifth grade. And so they would have a side-by-side of basically their reading journey when they first started or whenever they came to the school. What was their first checkout and what was their last? We're trying to figure out how to run that report. We may or may not be able to actually do it, but this is what I'm thinking, right? Another idea that I'm working on for upper kids, right, our secondary students, and this I think could work with the younger ones too, but I'm not there yet, is instead of awarding the students, having the students create awards for the books that they've read this year. And so I am in the process of developing a resource that I'm going to be sharing with anybody who wants it, really. I will be putting it into our 200 level coursework over in BNT University, and they are literary awards. So awards that we would give to the characters, the books, the places, the things that we've done in our curriculum during the year. What things have we witnessed together that deserve recognition? So one of my favorite ones is the Red Flag Award. This award is for the most toxic relationship or character that we've read this year. So as a committee, as a class, we would need to revisit the things that we've read. So love that. And then two, work through, right, evidence and discernment and the voting process. And I think this would set up a wonderful, final exam or end of year Socratic seminar. It would be a wonderful way to do an awards ceremony without you having to make up awards for your students, unless that's already easy for you. This would be super, super fun. So hill to die on, ceremony is important. It's messy, but it's really important. And it really creates that bond and memories that students won't have otherwise. Okay, third hill. This one's a lot less, I think, interesting. It's really interesting to me, and I hesitated to even put it on my list, but it's on my mind right now as I'm prepping for my summer PDs. How do I say this without making too many people mad? I'm just going to say it. Vertical articulation can make or break an English department. I mean, really any department, but vertical articulation in the ELA department can make or break the success of your students. And this is really touchy because I think the dynamics of every school are different, right? The responsibilities of teachers within departments are so different. And the realistic projection for how this can get done is not equitable. So that's why I'm nervous to speak this out loud. But I want to speak about it in terms of encouragement and friendliness and opportunity, not you should have or blaming or shaming. That's not where we are. But let me say this, right? So we have a couple of different cultures that circulate amongst most middle and high school ELA departments. There are some cultures where there are teachers who are very much like, close the door. I'm going to do it the way I've been doing it forever. It works for me. My students are successful. Leave me alone. There are, and then there are admin who allow that and they don't want to get in the way. They don't want to disturb the peace. So they kind of let that happen while other teachers are kind of innovating and changing and collaborating, and then others are not. There are departments where everyone's collaborating all the time, but sometimes that feels like they're never done. And so as innovative and wonderful and progressive and awesome as that can be, it can feel endless, and that's really difficult. And I think wherever your department stands at the moment, here's really what the hill is. If teachers aren't collaborating at the level of freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, right? 6, 7, 8. If we're not really designing our curriculum, knowing where students came from and where they're going, that endless feeling, that cycle feeling is just going to continue. Vertical articulation does not mean that everyone is lockstep with one another, but it does mean that there have been some very serious and committed conversations around where students should be and when, around common language, around common expectations, and dare I say, common rubrics. There are some things that really move the needle and others that don't. These are some of those things that do move the needle. If our students are constantly relearning how to navigate different teachers' expectations from year to year to year, we lose time. And time is not unlimited. We are going to run out of time with our students. Our students only have the certain set amount of time that they're given, and that's it. And when we, as the adults, can't get on the same page about many of these things, we're taking that time away from our students. So if this is something that your department is struggling with, this is absolutely something that I am doing in my PD work. I am helping schools with this. We're not doing it all at once, right? So we're doing it kind of in threads. So for example, right, with a school I worked with last year in Michigan, we did a common vertical alignment work on novel units. Everyone's novel units, what the books are that are being taught, what the assessments are that are happening, how it's being assessed, and working through a way that everyone is on the same page about a few core principles and a few core like design components when it comes to rubrics and assessments. We're not floundering. We're not doing 40 different things. We're doing a lot of common things with variations. Another school that I'm working with this summer coming up, we're doing the same thing, but with rhetorical analysis. Freshman expectations, sophomore expectations, junior, and senior. And we're beginning with seniors. What do we want students to be able to do? And we're backwards planning from there. This is hard to do as a chair on your own, especially if you're a chair that also teaches. So this is where I come in, and this is what I have been doing with schools, like I said, and it's just been very, very fruitful and incredibly helpful. And then we can kind of revisit year by year or semester by semester some of the other things that we want to be strong. The schools I've done this with are very, very confidently moving forward with their plans. It's very helpful once those decisions have been made. I get to be the enemy, right? Not you. I'm the enemy that comes in and says, here's what we need to do. We need to put some of these differences aside. Let's clarify what's best practice. And let's move forward together, because it really is not about our egos. It's not about what works for us. It's really not. It's about what works best for students. And I can tell you now, as a parent working in a school where my students go and watching the discrepancies from K to even just K to 2 has been detrimental to my students and incredibly frustrating as a parent, even from things as simple as homework policies and how we get information and the frequency of things. I mean, it's not that serious right now, but my kids learning phonics and learning how to read, that is serious to me. So when the expectations are all over the place and inconsistent, it breaks my heart, because I know that there is disruption happening. And it's not completely unavoidable. We need to honor each other's individual talents and strengths, but we can do it in a way that is going to maximize the experience for students in terms of their time. And I want to reteach things, but I want to reteach the things that are worth reteaching. So, 3 hills to die on. I hope you had fun for a little soapbox kind of an episode. Next week, I would like to dig in a little bit more to some of our end of the year planning, because I know a lot of you are getting closer and closer and closer to those deadlines. So let's work through some end of year stuff and getting our classrooms set for having a really beautiful end of the year together. I hope you all have a wonderful week at school, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks again for listening to Brave New Teaching.
We'd love to keep the conversation going over on Instagram.
And while you're there, check out the links in our bio for the most up-to-date events going on in Happy Hour and the Brave New Teaching community.
Thanks for being here and have a great week at school.